They are brave. They are our inspiration, our hope, mentors, and game changers. They are your leaders in the political arena, business world, entertainment, and in the paradise of sports. We bring you their stories on the Profile 256. Let's sit, learn, and get to know them better than we do. Only on Shutia TV.
It is the second episode of the Profile 256. My name is Joshua Mitala, and today we are with the legendary stand-up comedian, corporate events MC, creative writer, actor, speaker, and a digital influencer. He's none other than Ehmah Napoleon. Happy to meet you today.
Pleasure is mine. How are you, sir?
I came around and I found some kids. How many kids do you have?
Only two are mine officially.
Two.
Yeah, outside I don't know, but officially two.
So now, different people have seen you on stage, and you've kept on giving us a glimpse of your background. Here on the Profile 256, we get to share the untold stories of the different people. Last time we had a media personality, a TV presenter, and today we are with you, a comedian. And in every interview or episode, we get to unfold different facts or different stories that people get to share with us. So, who is Ehmah? Where are you born? Your dad, your mom, which village?
Ehmah is a 34-year-old. Much as I look 23, is a 34-year-old episode from the eastern part of this country, specifically Soroti. My dad passed on, rest in peace. My mother is a very beautiful, hardworking young lady of just 50 years in Soroti. A graduate, I hold a very serious degree, first class, from Uganda Christian University. Education. I'm a musomesa by profession or higher history and economics. Apart from that, hustler like the rest of us.
So now, as you got to grow up, which kind of boy were you? Which schools did you go to? Primary, secondary?
My primary was there. It was for hustling. To the extent that primary I don't have, because I was in this school for first term. When they chase you for school fees, you go to another one.
So where
so but I did my P7 in a school called Swaria Primary School. I don't know if it is still there.
So now you're done with P7.
Swaria, then went to Teso College. Now that was a school.
After getting how many aggregates in P7?
I think I got 12, and I was the best in the district.
Wow. Kongs.
Yeah, I got 12. I was given a certificate for getting a first grade. During our time and from our school, it was a miracle to get a first grade.
Wow.
But I was head boy as well. I was successful. Then I went to Teso College, Aloet in Soroti, the best school in Teso. Then Makirere High. And then
so you went to Teso College, Aloet. Now, before going to Teso College, Aloet, while you were in Salai Primary, Swaria Primary, which kind of person were you? Were you an artist? Did you have those? What characteristics did you portray?
Now, Swaria, I went to Swaria having left Kampala. I grew up here in Kampala. Now, having left Kampala, when I went to Swaria, I knew English. I knew more English than some of the teachers. So I was like an assistant teacher in Swaria. That's why I was number one all through. And because of that, I was always chosen to be in almost all clubs. Drama club, music club, Boy Scouts, whichever club, I was put in by force, and I was almost a leader in all of them. So I was an active young boy in my primary. So active that one time, 1998, I represented Soroti in the national schools debate about the African child.
So, while in school, you were a debater?
Head of debating club, head of the HIV/AIDS club, and you know those messages. head of the
Straight talk, young talk.
Straight talk, head of Boy Scouts, and then
Press.
even that one, and then head boy in 1999.
So now you're leaving Swaria as someone who is vocal, because
Yes.
someone is in debate, they are vocal. So you join Teso College Alowet,
Exactly.
single school.
Yeah.
What was the experience while at Teso College
The
Alowet?
Teso College was challenging because in Swaria twali above banji. Now I go to Teso College and I meet, it's a big school, so I meet children of ministers and MPs and executive directors. It was a bit strange there. It was really so easy to feel out of place, but still my talents made me stand out. From the second year, my senior 2, I was already a leader of Boy Scouts. I was already one of the leaders of the drama club in Teso College. So I just transferred what I used to do in Swaria to Teso College, especially with Boy Scouts and with drama.
So how many years did you spend at Teso College Alowet?
4 years, 4 years, senior 1 to senior 4.
So, and then still you got your first grade in senior 4.
No, I didn't get a first grade. Many of us actually didn't get the first grade. In 2003, that's when the Koenyi rebels entered Soroti. So we left school and many of us just returned to do exams. So I got, I think, 25 aggregates. I missed painfully, but it was enough to push me to
25
a good school.
I think 25 is the first grade.
Is it a first grade?
It is in senior 4.
Yeah, so I got 25.
Because
Yeah.
it goes up to 32.
Ah,
Then from 33 onwards, it's like second grade.
yeah, so I got 25.
So you're a bright chap.
I was hurt because in mock I had got 12.
Wow.
Yes, 12 for 8. So
That's
I imagined I would have got 9 for
At
8.
least, yeah. So you're leaving now Teso College Alowet, still as a debater.
Debater, leader of Boy Scouts, news reader, and actor.
Wow. So you join Makerere High now
Yes,
for A level.
for A
Which
level.
combination are you doing?
Heg.
And what's your experience now from Teso College Alowet, a single school, to Makerere High, which is mixed?
Now I come from Teso College back to Kampala when I had forgotten all the Luganda that I knew
From single now to mixed.
to a mixed school. I am what, a 16-year-old now. That is the time, Ngomuvubuka, that is the time the chemical reactions are taking place. So I see girls for the first time, like, ha! Nienda kuwasakanya ati. Yeah, so it is a bit of a culture shock.
Okay, now talking about that point of leaving mixed to single, I left a mixed school in O level and I joined Chira College Boutique in A level. So the first time I sat in class, I only saw boys entering, but I had the feeling girls are also coming. They're still in a dormitory. I had that kind of feeling. I know what it
Yeah, so it's a culture shock. So sometimes you withdraw and study. How is this surrounding? How would you do the things? No wonder second time I received very many letters threatening suspension because they say
So that you joined in Makerere High, Oliyongani, you were there still as a prefect?
kati Makerere High ngenda na kajanja. Remember Teso College is a school of strikes. Ngo manyi those single schools in Tares, in Nabumali, strike after strike. Kati ngenze wali nga neulira. Nga neulira. I didn't want anyone to touch me. Ebya bullying ebyo. But it's Makerere High Megade is a Christian school.
True.
Kamai vaino kunzikakanya, they had to cool me down. Gebya fight ebyo because me nga weulira nga twagala omuntu okusumbua. So when I went, it was a bit of a culture shock in that apart from the studying with girls, it was a school which brought out the Christianity in you or imparted Christianity in you.
Respect.
So it was hard. Umusajja watu tamanyi bya Bible bya hallelujah ebyo. But we are boxed into the culture. It was a bit challenging, but still I carried on. I carried on with the drama and the football and the scouting. I represented the school in the post-primary. I also wrote a play which the school took to the theatre and Ndere Center for the first time in the history of Makerere High Megade.
Great. Katomaliriza, you done your A level, how many?
Kati A level,
Which combination?
I did Heg art.
Egg art.
I first did Heg Divinity. Bible in Netabuka. Bible in Netabuka. What did Musa do? What did Abraham do? So I went and told him, "Are you just giving me art? Actually, can maybe final." Yeah.
But Divinity has paper that has things you would have liked.
Yes, I
like
know
Div
4, but yes, it was hard to answer some of the things. So I went and told him, "Mumpe art." So they gave me Heg art. So watch it out. Can waste time drawing a few things.
So you finish your A level. You write your exams. How many did you get?
I think I got 18.
Wow.
Yeah, I got 18 and went to.
That's wonderful.
I wrote my field applications to join Makerere, Chambogo, where.
But where was your interest?
It was Mascom originally at Makerere. But when they collect their points together, I could not make the cutoff. Yeah, but Mascom had a very high cutoff, I think 48 or something. Yeah, people had passed that year.
Okay.
So the cutoff was really high and I missed the cutoff by 2.
Wow.
By 2. So I said no problem. So I came to other options. I was waiting, when they make their cutoff and they make their selection, you can pass through the back door. Yeah, so I waited for back door. Neta kwata. I ended up at UCU doing education, which I don't regret.
So while at UCU, how was your life? Now this is Christian University. You ran away from Divinity. I guess you get some bit of Christian teachings while at UCU. Which kind of person were you while at UCU?
Now at UCU, I think I should say I received a culture shock everywhere I went. Because UCU now I get a proper Christian institution. I am more of a secular fella, that is the truth. So the culture was a bit difficult for me because right from the entertainment at UCU was hallelujah, hallelujah, like it was like a church and people would gather and sing. So I am actually the one who introduced comedy or a different kind of entertainment.
Which year was that?
To UCU, that was 2007. I formed a group called The Philosophers. Through that group, I started organizing comedy shows.
So now you're at UCU and you form that comedy
group, The Philosophers. Yeah.
So weren't you looked at as someone, in a kind of a weird way? Because mostly those education students, there's a tend to behave. Their dress code is different from the others. Their things are humble kind of stuff. Where did you get the courage to do that?
To start with the first one, I was actually looked at as strange in a way that even those in the education class thought I was misplaced. Even the lecturers thought I was misplaced. Most of them kept saying, "You are a Mascom fella. What are you doing here?" So even the Mascom.
Why did you go for Mascom at UCU?
By the time I went to UCU, it was only education
Available.
which was available and BBA diploma. So I said, "Can collect degree." For me, it didn't really matter which degree I did. I knew what I wanted to be. I knew that I would still end up in entertainment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That shows a sign of a resilient, determined, and ambitious person.
I made the decision in senior 6 after I did a lot of comedy at Makerere High, and I was admired. Teachers would line up during assembly just to see. Some teachers would drive from home early enough on Thursdays to see me present.
Send shout outs to the teachers.
Mr. Asimwe, headmaster, Musaja Yanjagala Nyoyo, and Mr. Chintu. Even Mr. Sale, yali wachiboko. Yeah, but he got to understand me later that there was something disturbing me. Talent was disturbing me.
Back to UCU.
So back to UCU, I am seen as strange in my class. The Mascoms feel I should be with them. Teachers or lecturers, some are finding it very difficult with me because I crack jokes in class. Like a teacher mentioned something, then I can mention an example using a funny person in the class, and the whole class, bursts into laughter. And how lecturers can be. Vice Chancellor, young Amber, I'm taking you direct to Vice Chancellor. I won't waste time with these small offices. She was called Elizabeth Chazike, or history. Shout outs, Madame Elizabeth Chazike. Now I passed her paper. She came one time and said, "Hey, this guy confuses me." he comes and does funny things. Then when I give a coursework, he passes. I only wish he could settle.
So there are those serious campaigns that you see where you used it by student leaders that we're going to stand, probably do me this or do me this.
I tried my best to stay away because politics can separate people. That is the truth. I try to stay away because you find that amongst my fans, this one supports this for for guild president, this one supports that, and sometimes people take politics personally, like it's a personal matter. So I try to steer away. There are those that I also felt that mchali wange mwana kamkubireo ka campaign, ka simple campaign, but I didn't go really deep into politics really.
Kati, you're done.
Yeah.
You see what's
Kati,
how are you trying to juggle between the two? The comedy you were doing, was it limited to only university, or you could even step out and do comedy outside?
By the second year, I had started doing shows in other places other than the university.
An education student?
Yes. When Eddie Kenzo came to Mukono for the launch of his song with Mickey Wine called Yan Nimba, I was the MC at Jobia Hotel.
In Mukono? In
Mukono. So I had started venturing out. Already I'd done a few events. There was a funny bar in Mukono called Chisumari.
Along Kayunga Road.
Along Kayunga Road. People used to go and do karaoke and those raga battles. So the owner of the place one time saw me at UCU because people used to come to UCU to see me and the philosophers.
Wow.
So one time I think the guy heard, so he came to UCU and he saw me. So he told me, njagala jini na kafa we mukona wabakaita Somali, bera onempira, ne karaoke. Katoboso ulokuja abantu bango bachankala nyamu, you know how we talk. So took me to Somali, paid me 5k a night. And I was very happy. Because 5k for a student was good
by
stuff.
Then.
Yeah. So by second year, I already ventured out. Even when I was doing education, I knew I wasn't going to step in class. I knew I was going to be in entertainment.
Wow. So you're done.
I'm
How
done.
did you start your career after having your bachelor's? First class?
Yeah, by my third year, I'd met people like Pablo. I'd met a few people who do, arts here and there. I'd already featured in Pablo's show called Pablo Live. So when I finished, it was easy for me to meet a few people because I'd already met some. I find when Omara, Daniel, Pablo, and Salvador are starting up a show at Effendi's, a comedy show. So Omara tells me, yo man, because I was with Omara in the same university, same course. So Omara tells me, yo man, there's a thing that we are starting. You should come and join us, and now you who is a bit experienced, you can probably even help us with something. So when I finish my papers, I come on a Wednesday, I find Omara, Salvador, Alex Muhanji, Pablo doing a show at Effendi's, a comedy show with the Crackers. So I join, as the Crackers was just forming up, I join, and Pablo, Salvador, Omara, they're like, hey, you guys, is it possible you come back even next Wednesday? We see how we can build this thing.
The Crackers is different from Mike Check.
The Crackers is the one that became Mike Check. The Crackers was the comedy group, but the show on TV was called Mike Check. Exactly. So I officially now become Crackers after that one show, 29th of
The Crackers had many actors and actresses from the hostel.
The Crackers formed from Stand Up Uganda, a competition by DSTV, which Pablo won, Salvador was second, Omara was third. So they said after DSTV, why don't we come together and form something? So that's the one that we joined in its formulation stages. Yeah, so when TV came, the producer said the TV show should be called Mike Check 1212. Exactly. So Hostel picked some comedians from the Crackers, which was really popular. So
I know when you left UCU, you aren't that so famous. So what do you consider to be your breakthrough in this comedy industry in Uganda?
I think the breakthrough for me came early, because
which point do you consider as you, Napoleon, like when I did this, I shot?
No, when the moment we were featured on TV as Mike Check, Most people like my English. They say it is very clear, very easy to understand. They also say it is very good. So people already clicked with me, with my character immediately, because of the English I cut across the country, the northern region, the southern region, actually West Nile, Mbarara, anyone could pick me. So I would say I became a national figure.
Wow.
At a young age, because people from all corners of Uganda would understand me.
So how did the crackers end?
People grew, brands grew. Salvador grew, Pablo grew, Napoleon grew, Muhanji grew. So when you grow, you have capability to attract your own following. So it means you can start your own thing and have. Of course, egos also grew. When someone grows big, they say,
having received a payment at some point of 5K, and apparently that would have been the least amount you've ever received. So what's the highest?
Actually, the least amount I ever received was 3,500 shillings. It was at a UCU. The sports minister, that lady, I was MC for the sports day from 6 in the morning to 8 in the night, in the evening, and she paid me 3,500. And I'm done with the co-MC, so he came for his 1,500 also. So, so I took home 2,000 shillings. That was to me the least. The highest, it is now in millions, like say the weddings that I do, and the shows that I do outside Uganda. A few good dollars here and there. A few good dollars.
So after you breaking through, we've seen you do different kind of skits here and there. Where do you see yourself in this comedy? Do you ever think of leaving it and probably go back to school?
To school for what?
And teach. You're a teacher.
No. I don't think I can even be welcomed by students anymore. Having seen what I do on TV and on YouTube, I see myself moving into production. I will not be on stage forever. So I want to reach a point where I can, one, nurture young comedians, which I'm already doing. Then two, I should be able to produce shows that people can see at home.
Now, there is a time when you and Salvador started, is it called Comedy what?
Just Comedy.
Just Comedy. And Mohanji was doing
Comedy Store.
Comedy Store. So people started, rumors say that you and Salvador teamed up to hit Mohanji.
Yeah, people say things, not all of them are true. I and Salvador and Ronnie McVex started Just Comedy for a reason. When we travel abroad for shows, to be very honest, I'll tell you, we are adored. Like, people there are like, oh my God, where are these guys from? What does Uganda have that we don't have? Because we really tubakuba chivulu. But when we come back here, you find the audience is a bit hard.
It's cold.
Not really cold, but it's hard. They are really trying your best to understand you. So I realized that when we started comedy, we had what we call that corporate audience, or the English-speaking audience. But slowly that audience got sent away. They started withdrawing from the shows, because for them they think maybe you've gone so much into, what is the word? Into clowning, and also a lot of vernacular. Kampala here is metropolitan, has Acholis, has Basoga, has Bagwere, Banyankore. Not all of them understand Luganda. So we had sent away. We were appreciated by people who were saying, finally we have a show where it's 70% English that we can also understand, we who don't understand Luganda properly. So this show, Just Comedy, caters for that audience that appreciates English more than vernacular. Okay. Yeah, it's not a battle. It's just serving a different market.
But you're in good terms. You and Muhanji.
We are in good times to bonga. Most times what you call beef is just perception. That when we start this, the moment you perceive that we are fighting Muhanji, you make it your statement. But most times it's just perception. Nenga feri tutubela tuseka. We read those things and we laugh. We even send message no gambo why? Wala weka no mbu wanvumye. You get, but to bonga.
There are laws. They were circulating on social media about artists, of course musicians and comedians. In that there's some bit of now. I don't want to call them restrictions, but guidelines to be followed. Have you seen them? Have you seen them anywhere?
Oh yes, I have them. I go through them on my phone most times.
Do you appreciate them? Do you think they favor you guys, or do you think they're infringing on rights of artists like you?
You have not used any correct word.
Okay. I'm just saying. Do you think
these laws do not infringe? They kill the craft, the arts, the industry. They don't infringe, they kill the industry. They kill in that most of the things that they have asked or they've said or they've passed as a law are impossible. Do you know that by that law, even you, before you came for this interview, you're supposed to have given them the script
and the language.
And the language.
I have to translate.
And I am supposed to have given them the answers. That is what the law says. So that's what I mean when I say it doesn't just infringe, it kills. I cannot give.
Are you becoming an activist now?
Not really an activist, but I am like a woman who is being forced out of her marriage. She has to fight for her marriage. So I am fighting for this because it is not just work for me, it is life. From my story, you must have learned that from primary to secondary to university, I was doing art, I was doing entertainment. So for me, it is more than just work. It is a calling, it is a way of life. So I feel that my way of life is being stopped. It's like cutting off oxygen from someone in ICU. So the laws, they aim, I think they aim to kill art.
Can we read some of them? Because if you have them,
yes,
we can go through them so that someone watching who may have not seen these may get to at least have a clue on what we are talking about and also understand what they say.
I will just pick a few that even you can see and say, wow. Section 6 of that act says each performance of an artist will not happen unless the artist or performer receives a permit from the commission. So before you come to interview me, because it's also put under performances.
True.
You must receive a permit. Section 7 says that before a person puts up any form of public performance in any location, they will need to apply to the commission for a permit, then submit personal information, name of location, include copy of the script, which must be translated to English if it is not in English originally. Any music, it must include any music or song which is going to be used, and pay the application fee and attach proof of payment. Okay, pay application. You are supposed to apply to come and interview me, or I'm supposed to apply to go and perform, and pay a fee every time, not just once.
Is it practical?
Those are the things that I meant when I say it is totally, completely impossible. Not just it is impossible. We are going to fight hard to make sure that this is repealed.
I understand you as the comedians, just like the artists, you have an organization and you have a position.
I am the speaker of TUCA. TUCA is the Uganda Comedians Association. I have already released a statement which we have all been sharing, all the comedians. In my statement, I said the makers of this law embarrassed themselves because they do not actually know what happens in our industry. They don't know what happens in our industry. I was actually disappointed with the Honorable Minister Frank Tumwebaze, who is quoted to have said that all artists have no sense of direction and are a threat to the country. I have a feeling that this law was passed with one artist in mind, and I'm not shy to mention this. They were passed with Bobby Wine in mind, because when you saw what happened in Chadon when Bobby Wine was contesting, almost all artists went to support Bobby Wine. Now artists have a big following, like a big following. So perhaps the aim of this is to make sure that we are curtailed from expressing our view. The reason they want to curtail us is because we already have a base. We already have an audience. We already have people who can listen or watch us.
So in simple terms, you think this is political?
Definitely. Not that thinking, it is definitely political, because some of the things that they are saying here, they are political. Let me give you an example. They say before I put a public performance, I must pay a fee, give a script and all that. I submit to the commission. Now the commission has to sit and review and decide.
So look at
whether my performance
down there.
Exactly. So the commission has to decide whether my performance should be put to the public or not. So if I am to put up a performance saying our roads are bad, and my skit is about the danger of having bad roads in Kampala or Uganda, do you think they will allow that to happen? It won't. About your question, the artists down there, the upcoming, the younger, where is he going to get the money to pay for
I see some licensed things there as well.
Yeah, or you see, even traders pay a license once in a year. KCCA, for example, gives a license once in a year, but for us, they want a permit every single performance. Every single time you're going to perform, you apply.
Do you think as artists you are a threat to this government?
No, we are not a threat to the government. Government itself has people who are a threat.
To who?
To the government. That government has people who are a threat to the government. Because anyone, for example, let me tell you, for example,
why
anyone
would you say the government has the people who are a threat to the government themselves? What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, I have a feeling some people just pass things that are supposed to make other people in government get hated. Because, for example, there are things that some people in government do that don't help the government to be popular among people. That's what I mean when I say government is a threat to themselves. I think there are people in government who do things maybe with the aim of making us hate government. Because government nayo, it is made up of people. It is made up of, so maybe someone is having battles with so and so, so and so. So now they bring it to the population here, but we need government. But we being a threat to government, no. What do we have? No stones, no guns, no knives, no nothing. All we have is a microphone most times.
Maybe you annoy the government. What you say?
But what is it that annoys the government? Maybe they should tell us what annoys them, if it is the government that gets annoyed. Because for us, all we do is entertain people. Now, humor, someone can find humor in anything. Some people find humor at a funeral. So, there are things about government that make people happy, that people laugh about. So, if government is annoyed, then they should put themselves together, put themselves right, so that we don't have funny things about government that make people laugh and make the government angry.
Just of recent, we saw that Bizonto were arrested, and then Gerald Chue as well. What's your take about that?
I think the big people in police and even government themselves do not understand arts properly. They really don't understand arts. Bizonto, for me, stayed away from tribalism. They didn't even mention, if you listen to that, to their stuff critically, they just hinted, they were scratching at something, but they never went at it. they just said, it's like saying Josh is a TV producer or TV presenter. It is that simple. Like when you look at the things that they mention, none of them is a lie.
You were a teacher, don't you think they were sarcastic in some way?
Now you've used a good word, sarcasm. Now sarcasm is different from an attack. Sarcasm is aimed at making someone laugh. Sarcasm is a high level of humor. It is aimed at making people laugh. Exactly. So I don't find anything tribal about what they've said. They simply made an interesting connection of how so and so will release money. I don't think they crossed the line, because what they did or mentioned was actually pure humor. And these things we mention most of the time. These things are mentioned. Just at this time round, this clip has gone viral. But those things are mentioned every now and again. But also, I think we should learn to look beyond the Bizonto and look at their message. Because they say, don't shoot the messenger. Did what Bizonto said, was it true? If it is true, is it good? If it is not good, then the ones in charge should change the situation. Because Bizonto already talked about what is there, not a creation by themselves.
Following those guidelines or laws that were put by the Ministry of ICT, you said as the speaker there is a document that you wrote
Oh yes.
to the government or to the concerned.
Yes.
Can you just give us a few highlights that are in that document?
Let me just pick it up. I am the spokesman of the Uganda Comedians Association, TUCA, and obviously the moment we saw the document or the rules, we had to let out a statement which I will give the viewers.
Okay.
But I'll just speak out a few things. Now this is what the public should know. Yeah, in my letter I make it very clear that we met when the first regulations were passed. We met with the then Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, who was the Honorable Peace Motuzo, and we gave her our suggestions and what we call amendments, things that should be corrected in the regulations that they had given us. So she promised that they will look into our suggestions and come back to us with feedback before this goes to Parliament.
Okay.
But we were shocked when this thing came back as a law, already as a law, and it was now under the Ministry of Information and Technology and under UCC. So our regulations were for Ministry of Labour, Social Development, but now passed under Ministry of Information.
So now, as we are getting to the conclusion of this discussion, what's your message? I want you to look straight into the camera. As the speaker of TUCA, and you speak authoritative because you're in a big office, you're representing lots of comedians, even down in the villages, they are comedians. So I want you to give a general message on behalf of those comedians straight to the government.
This is my message to the government. Entertainment in which comedy belongs is a sector that has never really been funded by this government. Most of the entertainers that you see are self-made through daily hustle. What government is trying to do is like going to be in charge of a garden in which they did not plant anything. So for government to have a voice or even a right over us, they should first invest in the industry. After investing in the industry, we can now sit down and say, since this is now professional, this is what we are going to follow, A, B, C, D. Number 2, government should not try to silence dissenting voices. Most times what entertainers like comedians do is actually talk about the reality. They point out the reality, even the reality you might have forgotten. They are just the mirrors of society. So don't shoot the messenger, but look at the message. Number 3, The entertainment industry employs so many people across this country, could be 1 million or 2. These would be people without jobs. But music, comedy, poetry, whatever band has given these people a livelihood. You are removing people's livelihood from them. People who have children, people who have families to take care of. That is the one thing. When you sit in your offices and make these rules, make these laws, remember that in trying to silence one Napoleon or one Bobby Wine or one Salvador, you are silencing hundreds who depend on them for their survival.
Wow, it's such a touching message. If I'm in any office and I'm concerned, I would really have a second thought about it. It's so touching, it's so emotional that these people feed various people. These people take care of many people, relatives that depend on them because of the art that they do. They're not stealing from anyone. They are just trying to put out the talent that they have. And of course, as Ugandans, as any human being would love to watch or see something that entertains them. But as we conclude, we are going to have only 2 things from Ehmah Napoleon. That's one of his worst moments and then his best moment as we conclude.
Starting with the worst, I think it has to be the death of my old man. I was just 22 years, 2008, at campus. As a young boy at that time, you're about to finish campus, so you're trying to figure out ABCD, and definitely you need some guidance, a big voice. Then mine went. So from that day, I knew it's going to be a one-man army. Best moment, it is a bit stupid, but to step on an aeroplane to go outside this country to represent my country in comedy. These are things that we dream about as kids. You dream yourself flying, going to present your country, make people laugh, and for it to actually happen, my friend, that day I sat and I said, "Hey, Mukama Siva wano."
Before you go, there is a character that Ehmah has now gotten to develop. And that character is of a person you'll get to know after seeing Ehmah do it. In the last seconds, before I can sign out this second episode of the Profile 256, I would like Ehmah to do us something small, following the Bizonto. Yes.
We have got information that the Bizonto have been arrested, but we are here to tell you they were not arrested. As police, we just called them to entertain us. We have been stressed with a lot of work trying to maintain curfew and other presidential regulations. When they finish entertaining us, we shall release them back to society and you enjoy their comedy.
Wow, this has been our second episode of the Profile 256. My name is Joshua Mitala, and we've been hosted by Ehmah Napoleon. He's one legendary stand-up comedian, actor, speaker, digital influencer, name it all.
They are brave. They are our inspiration, our hope, mentors, and game changers. They are your leaders in the political arena, business world, entertainment, and in the paradise of sports. We bring you their stories on the Profile 256. Let's sit, learn, and get to know them better than we do. Only on Shutia TV.